My name's Father Kevin Drew. This is St. Anne's Catholic Church in Excelsior Springs, Missouri.
My name is Sara, and I was the designer that worked with Father Drew to renovate St. Anne.
I'm Martin Faith. I'm the owner and founder of Scottish Stained Glass.
This church was built in 1975, and it had a very 1970s feel to it.
It was a lot of fun to be able to renovate this church and to work specifically on updating the windows. The original windows were kind of a green and yellow glass, so it changed the way the whole interior looked.
So I first met Father Kevin from St. Anne's about 10 years ago when he was at his previous parish, St. Joseph's, and we worked on a project there together. And he called me a couple of years ago after he had arrived at St. Anne's, and at that time he wasn't sure exactly what he wanted to do with the sanctuary. He just knew that he needed to do something. I think one of the problems we were trying to solve at St. Anne's was that the sanctuary was very dark, and so we wanted to design windows that would bring more light in. Father Kevin had some ideas about the religious symbolism that he wanted to show on the windows, so we were able to combine his ideas with the ability to bring more light into the sanctuary. So I think all the membership are really pleased with the results.
It was very dark. The ceilings were dark wood. It was full of paneling all around. So you just had a lot of yellows and browns and rust. So my vision was to open it up as much as we could and make it light and airy. So to emphasize more verticality when we come to Mass, so we look up.
What stands out to me is how easy it was to work with everybody. Father and I had a very similar vision, so it was easy to make decisions. And Maria is an incredible artist, so whatever we could dream up, she could do. She listened to the details that we were really interested in, and could manifest them beautifully in these gorgeous windows. So just the simplicity of the process and the quality of the design.
Your company was a big part of that because the windows here were yellowish green. And so you had a yellowish green hue in here. So we wanted natural light. Martin worked with me at my other parish in Trenton, and they had the same problem. Had just some horrible windows from the 60s. And so we have natural light coming in here now, and it's nice and airy and just more heavenly. So that was really the number one vision, was to make it lighter.
So I have two things that I hope people will notice about the windows, particularly the large St. Anne window, but all of them really, is that the church is more beautiful when it's not just a whitewashed space or a space without symbolic detail for the faith, but that being surrounded by these beautiful images actually enhances the Mass, it enhances our prayer life and calls us to higher things. I hope that, especially with the stained glass window of St. Anne, that people will relate to her more as a person and not just a parish or a building, but really to build this relationship with this saint in heaven who's praying for all of us.
The main challenge with this project was the St. Anne window. We wanted it to look like it was a window, but in actual fact it's a stained glass piece hanging on a wall. So it's backlit with LED in a nice frame, and it just looks like it's a natural window.
Sara, she took a trip up to Colorado to see you all and was very pleased for the project. So that was very reassuring for me.
So I teach a class called Renaissance of Christian Culture, and one of my students asked Father Drew if we can be involved with decorating a temporary space while this was being done. And he gave us permission, and so the success of that little temporary space led to my being involved with this space, which I was very grateful for that opportunity. And in designing this space, I told Father Drew what was really important is to tie the design itself to who St. Anne is as a person and who she is to us as as the people, the faithful. So that is as the mother of the Virgin Mary.
I loved working on this project, and it's really satisfying when we get clients like Father Kevin, who have worked with us in the past and have been so pleased that as they move from church to church, they want to have us come along and do work with them.
What we did was St. Anne was the maternal support for Our Lady, and one of her titles is the Mystical Rose. So we used the garden theme, using this trellis as a representation of that support of St. Anne for the Mystical Rose, and thus you have all the flowers around the trellis area. Also, the blood of Christ comes from the family lineage of Our Lady and her mother and father, so St. Anne. So we also used little drops of red to represent that royal and mystical bloodline of Christ. So you'll see that around each of the stained glass windows.
Beauty will convert the world, somebody said, and I think that's a great quote. In a church, we need verticality, so we keep looking up to heaven, because Jesus was always looking up to heaven. We need permanence, so when you come into a church, you want to see permanence, and beauty is the third key.
I think when you install stained glass into a church, it changes the ambience of the church, and certainly all the other work we're just a small part of this project. All the other work that was done to decorate the sanctuary has been amazing, and the transformation's incredible. And one of the members said to me the last time I was on site that they just love coming and sitting in the sanctuary now, even when there's no service on, and they just find it very peaceful and relaxing. And so that's very satisfying to know that we were part of that process.
Jesus says, hey, you persevere through that. You carry your cross, and that keeps the light burning inside of us. We carry our cross because we hope in the man's promise.
Communication between the church committee or the priest or the designer and ourselves is really important at all times. We've just got to keep a dialogue going, and we've got to keep moving forward with the project, because eventually you get to the point where the designs are absolutely perfect, and that's what we're looking for. We're not a company that wants to offer something that we've done in the past and have people choose from a catalogue. We want to create things that are different and exciting, unique to every single church that we deal with. The best way for people to reach us is through our website, or just pick up the phone. We love talking live to people.